Welcome to DVR Club, the AV Club's TV recap show. I'm television editor Erik Adams, and alongside me
is assistant editor Becca James.
We're here, we're back, we're talking about the bloody conclusion of Hannibal's third season, the conclusion of Hannibal's run on NBC. It's called The Wrath of the Lamb, and that takes us right into top storylines, which really is just The Wrath of the Lamb. This is all about Will coming to terms with what Hannibal Lecter has essentially laid out for him through the entire run of the show.
This is all I ever wanted for you, Will. For both of us.
Yeah, they finally commit their murder together. It's kind of like their epic date, I guess.
Do you take that as a sign that Will is finally coming to terms with Hannibal, or is that just another manipulation?
I think it's just another manipulation, maybe not even on Will's part, but just on the show in general, because it leaves an open-ended sort of finish.
I think that's a natural segue to go into page to screen. Becca, when did you read Red Dragon?
I'm in high school, and I read it again in college, actually.
So it's been a while since you've read it. Was there any surprise left in this telling of that story?
Between the book, Manhunter, and then Anthony Hopkins' Red Dragon, no. No, the whole arc was hard to stay focused on because I guess I know the story. So for if you're watching it for the first time, I'm sure there's a lot of cliffhanger moments, but for me, I was like, oh. I kind of miss how the first and second season relied a lot on pairing different books or different adaptations of things into one story. And I think that's why I struggled with Red Dragon, because it was just so by the numbers.
Gosh, poor Chilton, right? I mean, the guy hasn't done himself any favors on this show, but the last couple of arcs and seasons, he's just getting the crap kicked out of him.
You just kind of wish they'd let him die already. Especially this episode where there's just nothing left to his life and he's in that tube.
Now moving on to a sound decision that I think was kind of a poor decision, and that's involving the song that plays over the last couple of minutes of the episode.
It caught me off guard because I haven't heard any music with words in it in that show ever, or at least for a long time.
Even to just hear a distinct melody like that in the intro, it was like, what's going on here? Why is a conventional pop song intruding on my show where it's usually just weird ringing and buzzing? It felt to me like a 90s James Bond theme, just sort of weird production choices. I went on a strange emotional journey with that song though, because I didn't like it when it was playing, and then when the credits came up and it said that it was Susie Sue and Brian Reitzel, I was like, oh no, I don't know if I can fully hate this because I like the individual works of these two people. It just seems like an odd fit. It puts too fine a point on it, I think.
It kind of diluted what we had seen before. It made it seem more like a movie montage that you could kind of run into, like you said, James Bond, which we haven't seen in Hannibal before.
This is usually where we would do Speculation Corner, but as we've stated many times on DVR Club, this is the end of Hannibal, so there's nothing to speculate upon, so let's go on in to finale thoughts. What do you think about the legacy of Hannibal? How do you think at the end, looking back on the series, how does this stand against other screen adaptations of these Thomas Harris novels?
It's hard to say because I'm stuck on these last episodes we've seen, and for me, Anthony Hopkins has always done the Red Dragon story better as far as, I guess, putting forth what Hannibal is as a person.
I honestly kind of at the end of it think that Mads Mikkelsen has claim over performing the definitive version of Hannibal Lecter.
No, I think you're nuts. I think sometimes you and I forget that nobody watched this show, and that's why it got canceled. So that's very sad, but it's true. Anthony Hopkins also won an Oscar for his portrayal of Hannibal, and I think he really set the tone.
I ate his liver with some fava beans and a nice Chianti.
Way back when it was announced that NBC was going to be doing a Hannibal Lecter series, it felt like we had reached a point of Lecter saturation. You know, I think the last couple of movies wound up showing that there was a bit of fatigue with the characters and with this lineup, Hannibal Rising especially. Like, I don't think anybody liked that movie. I don't think it was as much of a hit as Hannibal or as Red Dragon was. And so it seemed like, why this? Why are we going back to this same source material? And I think fortunately it did put a new spin on these characters and this world and these themes, at least through 2.5 seasons. Red Dragon may have been a little too straightforward. It may have taken the focus away from Will and Hannibal too much, but it showed that there was still life in this source material. It really played to what makes the television medium unique, and that's that relationship. That we have these relationships with these shows, and that we can watch relationships between characters developing over seasons, over years. I think it's incredibly appropriate that the show should end with Hannibal and Will in an embrace, and I expect to see that image plastered all over the internet, because it's like a fanboy ejaculation.
It's beautiful.
I think that about wraps it up for DVR Club. I'm Erik Adams.
And I'm Becca James.
Bye!